Good morning, and good morning from a new adventure on sunny Dartmoor. It's only a short while ago that I've come back from France, where I walked the GR54 with my two friends, Andrew and Jason. Well, I'm out again with Andrew. There were supposed to be four of us. Jason and my friend Alan were supposed to be joining us, but Alan has got tickets for the cricket and Jason hasn't got enough annual leave, unfortunately, to join us on this trip. So just Andrew and myself, and we're going to do a 5-day walk around Dartmoor. We've parked in Buckfastleigh and our route is going to visit many tors, old stone circles and stone rows. This morning we visited Andrew's friend John and his wife Vic and their 4-month-old delightful baby Seth in the small village of Scorriton. Had a cup of tea there, it was lovely to meet them. And now we're up on the moor proper and we're going to have a short day today, but we're feeling oxygenated as a result of our trip to the Alps, so none of the hills here are going to cause us any problems whatsoever. Hope you enjoy our journey.
Approaching this point, which we're going to start going left towards Riders Hill. Now, the reason why I got it dotted is because
we're on Gripper Hill, great name, southeast corner of Dartmoor, looking across towards Exmouth, and we think we can see Exeter, and we're looking at one town which we're not quite sure, but we've got the bets on it being Newton Abbot. And I'm back in my Terra Nova tent. Took my Lanshan tent to the Alps, which I thoroughly enjoyed, but I felt I was being a bit disloyal to the Terra Nova Laser Compact, so here I am again, reacquainted with this wonderful tent, in a slightly strong breeze, but we know that's going to drop this evening and we're going to enjoy a lovely evening. So sun's out, we walked 9.7 miles today and we've got a 17-mile day tomorrow. Spiced infusion couscous with mackerel, and then I'll probably follow it up with some biscuits and a hot chocolate. Good morning, and good morning from a sunny Dartmoor on day 2 of our Dartmoor adventure. And we've woken up to a glorious day, not a cloud in the sky. And when the sun rose this morning, we were looking at distant cloud inversions over the Dart and the Exe. Too far away to film, sadly, but enjoyable to look at from our location on Gripper's Hill. Today, we're heading in a generally southerly direction initially, heading down to the West Wooler Brook, climbing up to Black Tor above Shipley Bridge, and then heading down towards some loos which we're hoping to make use of before we then head in a generally westerly direction. There's nothing not to enjoy about today, it's just a glorious day. At the summit of Stalldown Barrow, and the reason that we've come here is because there's a stone row on the other side of the hill which we're walking towards now. So all very good. Grass is a bit rough up here, but nothing that's not difficult, and we can cope with it very easily. The last hill, Tristis Rock, my goodness me, that was a hard one. The path on the map didn't work and we were bushwhacking, crossing the stream. Again, we did it, but it was slow going and not very easy. And amazingly, our legs are not too badly cut. Anyway, glorious day. Let's go and see this stone row. Well, it's a warm old day. Forecast was 21 degrees. Of course, that's in the shade. So you can add several degrees to that, and it's particularly warm when we're climbing. But more importantly, I've had a catastrophic kit failure today. I wear Salomon X Ultra 360 shoes. I think they're really comfortable. I've used them for many, many years. Never had an issue. The lacing system is different from traditional laces. You pull the cord tight with a rubber band and then you cinch it down on the plastic stopper. Well, for some reason the cord snapped, and I noticed just as we were leaving the moor, having walked along the stone row. Now, how do you fix that? Well, thankfully I've got guyline in my rucksack, but the holes on these shoes are so narrow, so thin, that it took Andrew and myself quite a long time to thread the original black cord and then some jaunty looking red Dyneema guyline around my shoe to enable me to be able to walk. And the bodge is good, it's working well, but that shouldn't fail. So I'll be contacting Salomon when I get back from this trip, because these shoes have still got hundreds of miles left in them and there's no reason why that cord should have failed. So back on the moor, having temporarily been off it, and now we're climbing up again and the temperature is rising. You keep beasting me, Andrew. I've got to keep putting the calories in.
That was a pretty hard. Did we say we done? How many have we done today?
17 so far.
So it's a hard 17, that was, isn't it?
Hard 17 and slow 17 because of the terrain.
Yeah.
Borada, good morning. Day 3 of our Dartmoor adventure. Woken up to a breezy morning, but the luxury of backpacking, a dry tent, no condensation, no dew on the outside, and if you know, you know. Wonderful start to the day. So we're leaving Gutter Tor and heading across to Yellow's Mead Triple Stone Circle. It's quite a unique feature. A stone circle with 3 concentric rings. And then we're going to head across to Princetown via Coombs Head Tor, and no doubt when we get to Princetown it'll be a cream tea, pot of tea and a little resupply as well. It's a dry day. Forecast is for to cloud over after lunchtime with a 30% chance of light rain this afternoon, but we will see. Well, this is a lovely spot we found just north of Coombs Head Tor. This is the Down Tor Stone Circle, which I'm stood in at the moment, and I'm now going to walk along Down Tor Stone Row, and it will take us in the general direction of Seward's Cross as we're heading towards Princetown. It's 316 metres long according to Google. Another very impressive archaeological find on Dartmoor. Someone's had a fire here as well. Cream or jam first?
Crumbly scone.
Cream's going to be cream. Cream, okay. Cream's my favourite bit. So, after 2 hours or so, we're finally leaving Princetown. It's a bit of a vortex. We popped into a cafe and we had a lovely cream tea. That was fantastic. Then we thought we'd nip over to the local shop to do a little resupply, because both of us need some stuff. Well, he was taking a delivery, couldn't possibly serve us, and he was shut for best part of an hour. So we gave up on him and went to the local fish and chip shop, which we didn't really want. So we just had a bag of chips and curry sauce, and I got a sausage to take for my tea tonight as well. And after 2 hours, we're finally leaving Princetown, not having achieved exactly what we wanted to achieve. Oh, and it started raining just as we started to eat our chips. Anyway, let's keep going.
Did a cross path. Okay, not very far. A few hundred metres.
On what has become quite a gloomy day now, we're now approaching Higher White Tor before then descending to Longerfoot Tor. So here we go, Higher White Tor. At the end of day 3 on our Dartmoor trek, and we found a lovely spot here at what appears to be an abandoned mine. OS Maps doesn't tell us the name of this mine, so I'm going to do a little bit of Google work later on, and if I can find the name of it, I'll stick the name of this mine on the screen. Today's been a good day. Despite the overcast weather, we've had a nice time. After Princetown, we visited several tours, which you've seen in the video, but I suppose the highlight this morning was going to Yellowmead Stone Circles. There were 4 stone circles there, not the 3 which I said earlier. Really quite special. Clearly not visited that often. There were paths to and from it, but it wasn't as obvious as we thought it would be, bearing in mind how unique they are. So that was nice. Tomorrow we've got a 17-mile day. The weather forecast is to get a lot warmer again tomorrow, and it'll be another day. But for this evening now, get our dinner on, enjoy the evening, and get ready for tomorrow. Good morning, and good morning from day 4 of our Dartmoor adventure. Just left Powder Mills Mine, stroke factory as it turns out. We found an information board this morning. There are a number of buildings on the site, and it was a gunpowder factory that closed in 1897. It was the only gunpowder factory in Devon. The buildings were situated as far apart from each other as they were, which makes sense really if you think about it, in case there'd been an explosion in one of them and it wouldn't have destroyed the whole complex. Anyway, lovely night last night, very comfortable, slept really well, and now we're heading towards Arch Tor before dropping down to Post Bridge, and then the day will develop as we visit more hills and tors.
There's grass over the other side and info. Literally half a mile away.
So we're approaching Grimspound, which is probably Dartmoor's most well-known prehistoric site. Evidence of habitation between 1450 to 700 BC, so started about 3,500 years ago. There are 24 stone roundhouses here and entrances to the north and south and the east and west. So quite an interesting location. Okay, this is Jay's grave. Don't know what the date of this is, but Jay committed suicide. And in times past, the country people of Dartmoor were very superstitious and didn't want the spirit coming back to them, because people who committed suicide were not allowed to be buried in consecrated ground. So they buried Jay at a crossroads, and we're at a crossroads here. Our path crosses the road here. And that meant that in their eyes, Jay's spirit would not be able to find their way home. And now it's clearly a place where people come and put offerings on there in the form of loose change and flowers. Jay's grave. Lunch at Hound Tor, and that's a beef and Stilton pasty which weighs a lot. I got that in Post Bridge. Nice to be in the shade. Oh, the heat has now risen, but thankfully we've got cool, damp clothes on as a result of a dip in Becker Brook. We were the entertainment for the other people there who were having a picnic, there's no doubt about that. Anyway, heading up the hill now to Smaller Coombe Rocks.
The horse is walking away. Is that something to do with your smell?
This is Pill Tor and our spot for the night, and what a spot we've got. And this is the sort of night and evening that you dream of when you backpack in the UK. So many times you get in your tent in the UK because it's so blooming cold, too windy, you can't sit outside. Well, tonight it's too warm to sit in the tent, and I'm going to be cooking up shortly in the shade of this tor with a magnificent view around me. It's been a good day today. We've visited lots of tors. You'll see the names of them in the film before we arrive here. The last one we got to was Top Tor, which is just at the end of where I am now. And as I said, this is Pill Tor. Wonderful, fantastic. It's going to be a great evening. Good morning from day 5 here at Pill Tor, our final day on our Dartmoor adventure. Well, last night I talked about a fantastic camp, the perfect camp, UK weather, how you dream about forecasts and views and warmth like we had last night. Well, here's the trade-off. Clag is down. It's been quite a wet night, hasn't rained as such, but heavy wet tents, and now we're off on our way. So we're heading back to Buckfastleigh today. We're certainly going via the 10 Commandment Stone and a few little tours, and we'll enjoy it. We understand by 10 o'clock the weather will start to clear up and it'll be a nice day again. So these are the slabs with the 10 Commandments inscribed on them. They were commissioned in 1928 by William Whiteley, who was the Lord of Buckland Manor, and they were to commemorate Parliament's rejection of the Common Prayer Book. Now, I've done a little bit of research on that, and essentially people did not like the idea that some of the amendments appeared to be too Catholic, and therefore were very happy when it was rejected. Now, if you think of the history of anti-Catholicism in this country, it all goes back to Henry VIII and his rejection of the Catholic Church because of his desired marriage to Anne Boleyn following the divorce of Catherine of Aragon. History runs deep in this country. So this is coming to the end of our trip to Dartmoor, day 5, and having left the 10 Commandment Stone, we're now going to descend into Orswell Wood and then minor paths and lanes which will take us back to Buckfastleigh. So this is my last piece to camera. The rest of the video will be of Andrew and myself taking that route back to the car that's parked in the village. Hope you've enjoyed the video, hope you've enjoyed the scenery. Been a wonderful trip for us. We've had great weather, warm at times, but very enjoyable. And as with all my videos, I just wish to thank you very much indeed if you've got this far and have watched it all, because I know a lot of people watch for a couple of minutes and then drop off. I know I'm not the most exciting YouTuber, but as I've said, I always do these videos for myself so I can look back one day at what I used to do. But happy to share what I do at the same time. This, I think, is my last properly planned backpacking trip this year. I'm sure I'll be out again in the autumn and during the winter with trips, but they'll be ad hoc as and when. So thanks ever so much. See you on the next video.